everyone. This is Master Ritzman, and welcome to another episode of Mathematics Online. Feel free to pause the video whenever needed and try to solve the problems by yourself. Our topic for today is all about factorizing using the grouping method. Before anything else, let us have our objectives. Objective number 1. Students will be able to understand the process in factorizing polynomials using the grouping method. Number 2. Students will be able to factorize polynomials using the grouping method. What is factorizing using grouping method? By definition, factorizing by grouping means that you will group terms with common factors or create smaller groups within the problem, usually done by grouping the first two terms together and the last two terms together before factoring. It can be used to factor polynomials whenever a common factor exists between the groupings. Now, let us understand it better. Let us try and factor the following polynomials given below using grouping method. We have number 1, 2, number 3, and lastly, number 4. For number 1, the first step is to arrange the terms so that the first two terms have a common factor and the last two terms have a common factor. Step 2. For each pair of terms, use the distributive property to factor out the pair's highest common factor. Then, if there is now a common binomial factor, factor it out. And then finally, if there are no common binomial factors in step 3, begin again, rearranging the terms differently. Note that if no rearrangement leads to a common binomial factor, then the polynomial cannot be factored. For numbers 2, 3, and 4, use the same steps we had in number 1. Note, always be careful with the signs. Never forget that if no rearrangement leads to a common binomial factor, then the polynomial cannot be factored. Number 3, never forget that if no rearrangement leads to a common binomial factor, then the polynomial cannot be factored. And lastly, number 4. Never forget that if no rearrangement leads to a common binomial factor, then the polynomial cannot be factored. And that is all for this lesson. See you in the next episode for another interesting topic. Bye bye!